Good morning, folks. This is Tom Lear coming to you from Carrier, Mississippi on this wonderful Sunday morning. I got up this morning and the Sahara dust cloud had blown over. It's been around here for about the last 3 days. And I looked up and the sky was blue. So that's what God can do for you. Today, I just want to talk about a hodgepodge of things. Basically, you see I got my Farm Aid shirt on, my John Deere hat on. Look here. Don't y'all get jealous. Waffle House, baby. That's the elite. That's the elite five-star restaurant for us old redneck hippies. But anyhow, really what I want to talk to you about is just a hodgepodge of things, folks. I thought I would show you some of the things that grow on my property here. I already showed you a few things. My trees, I've got over 100 trees on my property. I have 5 acres, and I have to mow some today on my John Deere tractor. But look here. Can y'all guess what this is? What's this? That's a hickory nut. Hickory leaves. Shagbark, hickory. I read you can boil this thing down a few times and eat it, but I definitely not into that. Right here, little old leaves. This is called a water oak. Water oak. Water oak. We have a whole bunch of different oak trees on our property. These are the leaves of a live oak tree. Those are the ones that branch out and get real big. You see the moss growing on them. Look here. That's not a marijuana leaf. I bet some of y'all wish it was. This is a maple leaf. And I find that some people call it a water maple. I find that those trees and those little oak trees, not the live oak, but the other oak, that they don't do too well in a. It seems like their wood gets more rotten than a lot of the other ones. Their branches always seem to be falling. This is a cypress leaves. These grow mostly around our pond area. They love water. I know you've seen those brown things in the picture, roots, round looking things called cypress roots. Anyhow, let me show you this. I crumpled this thing up. This is growing in our garden. This is a leaf from tomato plant. And really the reason I brought this, because I like to mush them, smush them, and smell them. I mean, I don't know. Some people like to smell roses and other things. I like the smell of, God made the smell for aroma, I guess is what I want to say, the fragrances. I think it's pretty cool because he knew how it would affect you and make you feel. Anyhow, I don't know how I got off on that, but I got this little verbiage somewhere. And I'm going to read it to you. It says, before you pray, believe. Before you speak, listen. Before you spend, earn. Before you quit, try. And before you die, live. I mean, isn't that pretty cool? I think it is. Anyhow. I have something else to show you guys too. Hold up. I grew up in a town called Henderson, Kentucky, on the Ohio River. And the Ohio River was about 2 blocks from my house growing up. And to get to it from my street, you had to cross Main Street and go through a town they called Fishtown. And that's where I guess they figured the poorer people lived or whatever. But anyhow, I used to go swimming in the Ohio River. You'd walk down there by the granary. All the fish would be eating all that the grain that would blow out. And we'd go there, and sometimes the mud, I just remember the mud would get up to your knees. But a lot of people drowned in that river, but we didn't think about it back then, drowning. Hell, we were just out there having a good old time. But anyhow, the town I grew up in, Henderson, Kentucky, was considered one time per capita. It had the most millionaires of anywhere in America. And the reason that was happening was because they were the second largest exporter of tobacco anywhere. And so we're talking about tobacco. Look here. Look at this. Y'all know what this is? I'll tell you. It's a tobacco stick. And how that works, once the tobacco is ready, you go out and you cut them, the stalks, and then you put this stick through the end, the fat end, and then you put them on a wagon and you take them on up to the barn, and then you get a bunch of guys in there from the bottom up the rafters, and you put about 6 or 7 of those stalks on these sticks, and you pass them up. And you talk about some hot work, some hot, nasty work, folks. That was it. I did that growing up. I worked in the bean fields. A bunch of us hooligans, I was probably about 13, maybe 14. We'd gather in the morning, and the constable would come and pick us up really early in the morning and take us out to the bean fields, and he'd give you a machete or a thing with a sickle on the end, and you had so many rows on each side that you had to see if there were weeds. You'd kill the weeds, and the rows looked like they went on forever. And I think by about 1, we were out of there because it just got so hot. They called it down in the river bottoms in Kentucky. It was really hot down there. But we did that, and then I worked in these sticks either were carved out, cut out by people, or the local sawmill made them, and that's where I got that one from. I actually worked in the sawmills in Kentucky. I worked on something they called the green chain. See, the green chain. I'll let y'all look that up, the green chain. My mother, back then when I worked on the green chain, it was 1972, I was 18. Minimum wage was $1.60 back then. Now it's $7.25. So I did some calculating, and it's gone up about 11.5 cents per year. See, 11.5 cents per year since then. So as far as our town, it was a kind of a halfway rural town. Everything around it was rural, so the economy was, it wasn't big city. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I can still remember my great aunts had feather beds. They had a hand pump for water. They had what they called root cellars, where they put their canned goods. My wife still cans. We do a lot of the, I guess you'd call it old school stuff, drying and canning and planting. Nothing wrong with that. I kind of wish people would get back to that type of lifestyle. Everything is going so fast now. It's really, it's crazy. What's the damn hurry? See, my mother grew up. Well, she was born in a little village called Utopia, which was on the Green River by a town called Spotsville. And what they would do, there were a lot of coal mines around there. They would load the coal, put it on the boats, and send it down the Green River to other towns. Remember that song by John Prine? Take me down to Muhlenberg County, down by the Green River. where paradise lays. See, I'm sorry, my son, you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody done hauled it all away or something. But that's what happened in the 30s. That village kind of went defunct because Peabody bought all that property and the people moved out. So that's kind of how it always goes with the small working man, the small farmer. See, the small farmer, the backbone of our country. See, people tell me, well, and I don't want to get off on a damn political thing, but they talk about Trump and a billionaire businessman and all this. You know what I say to that bullshit? I would like to have him working in the bean fields, working in putting up tobacco, driving a John Deere tractor. I went to visit my uncle when I was 13. He taught me how to drive a John Deere 4020. I helped out on the farm, helped plant corn, beans, tobacco. I mean, to me, if somebody's going to lead, they're going to have to know a little bit about the people they lead. And you can take it for what it is. That's my opinion. Let's see, what else can I tell you? Oh yeah, and sometimes the result of mining the coal, you had these things called stripper pits, these real deep places in the ground. Then the water would come in and it'd get real deep. We used to go swimming in those too when I was a kid. Hell, we could have drowned in those things. We lived. We lived. We didn't have cell phones where you're punching them 24/7. We got out and went crazy. See, and I'm still here. And I'm glad that that's how I grew up. I'm really happy that that's how I grew up. That I had the freedom to do something like that. Today, it's just. I'm not saying it's a sad day. It's a different day that we're living in, folks. Maybe we need to get back to some of the old ways is all I'm saying. So I'll just leave it at that. Show you a few more things real quick. There's a series of books called Foxfire books. First one was written in 1972. 12 more series came out. They teach about all the old ways. It was a study of, say, from Georgia, Kentucky, Tennessee, up in the Appalachians, of the ways that they did things in their life. I mean, there's hundreds of good things in these books. Foxfire. I walked the Appalachian Trail. Did I tell you all that? I was on the Appalachian Trail. Yeah, we went on vacation in Tennessee, and you could walk out in the mountains and walk out onto the trail. It said Appalachian Trail. That was always my goal. So I stood on the Appalachian Trail and walked a few hundred yards. So I can actually say I walked the Appalachian Trail. Haha. Anyhow, here's another one. Story of the Hyneman Settlement School, Pikeville, Kentucky. This lady went and set up a school way back in the 20s and 30s for the kids down there. Angel of Appalachia. Another lady went up into the mountains, taught the kids, started the school. The Berea College in Kentucky. Do some research on that. I think that's going to blow your mind. I'm not going to tell you about it. If you're interested in it, look at it. That's how I give it a thumbs up. Sears. Remember the Sears store, Sears and Roebuck? There was a partner with him called Julius Rosenwald, and he used his money to help fund schools in the South for African Americans back in the 30s, 20s. He was a billionaire. I don't know. He had a lot of money. and he worked in conjunction with Booker T. Washington to help set these schools up. So my thing is this: after it's all said and done, all these leaves I showed you, the study of trees is called dendrology. Study of plants is plant morphology. You know how I learned that? I read. If you want knowledge, read. Don't take. Somebody was talking to me about critical thinking. I said, well, what is critical thinking? Is critical thinking sending your child to some religious school and then getting their head pumped with all that stuff? Is that critical? Critical thinking? What? My opinion is no. You're just filling their head with what you want, or even homeschooling. A lot of homeschoolers have an agenda in mind, and even your public schools. What is critical thinking? What is it really? Is it just a word? But anyhow, with the leaves, God made all these things, and He made them different. See, just like He made us different. But we can still accept and enjoy each other. Hey, that tree's there, this one's here, we're all living together. And that's probably my thing. Let's just stop the fighting for a while, folks. Maybe go outside and sit. Look up in the trees. Look, enjoy something. Stop and smell the roses. I tell my wife that sometimes. She gets a little upset with me. Thinks I'm condescending, but I'm not. Our life isn't that damn busy where you just can't sit down and look at what God has made for us and just be thankful. I have a big old sign over there that says thankful. See, be thankful for what God has given you. Don't spend all day worrying about your checkbook. Hell, if you don't have it by now, you're not going to get it, folks. Huh? Some of y'all older like me, you're still alive. You haven't missed too many meals. Some of y'all need to miss a few of them. You need to take care of yourself better. But I'm not going to get off on that. What I'm trying to tell you, sometimes the old ways are the better ways, And that's kind of what I wanted to show you today, getting back down to basics. So I'm going to let you go. Y'all have a great day. Think about your farmers. Think about nature, education. Educate yourself. Think. T-H-I-N-K, think. Sometimes you got to get rid of the old to put in the new. Like the Bible says about what is he talking about? Old wine into new skins? Or new wine into old skins? Whatever it is, sometimes we need to change it. Do a complete overhaul. So y'all have a good day, and I'll talk to you later.